Hi everyone! This video is going to be about neutralizing hard colors and lines. I know that makeup can sometimes get a little crazy where you go in with really bright colors or dark colors and then all of a sudden you look like a painting. The answer to this is something that you might not see coming. It's actually to use a lot more products. But it's really important to know which ones to use, which ones are the right products to use, and to kind of get rid of the whole painting makeup and just become a lot more natural. In general, what you would have to do is just blend some more, use your makeup sponge or your brush, whatever you're using, and just blend some more. So we're talking about two different things here. The color aspect, where you kind of want to tone it down and not get too crazy with the colors, or the harsh lines that are there and that you kind of want to blend out and make things like your contour. It shouldn't have any harsh lines. It should look like it's natural, and natural contour, natural skin and shadows, they don't really have a harsh line. So you kind of want to get rid of that. With both problems, we're kind of going to divide them in like three main groups where you kind of have to conquer the problem. So to start with colors, like the first category is obviously eyeshadow, which can get really crazy with bright colors and things like that. Or it can sometimes look like a dress-up party when you're just being your normal self. So the thing here is when you got really bright colors and you kind of want to tone it down a notch, or it's getting too dark for what you're aiming for, you might want to take an eyeshadow that's really close to like your skin tone or something, or even just a powder like compact powder or something like that. Just some kind of powder that looks kind of like your skin tone. And then you can just blend it in, go over it with the powder to tone it down, or you just get rid of that intensity and all that pigment and just tone it down a notch so that you don't look that crazy anymore. Then talking about liquids, as far as like liquid contour, liquid blush, whatever, things like that, everything liquids, it's just a general rule where you just use more foundation. Use a little bit of foundation or even a concealer, just something that's your skin color or a bit lighter, and just go over that. Pat that in or use a brush for that, it doesn't even matter. Just go over the cream that you kind of want to tone down. Then when talking about powders like bronzers, contour, blushes, things like that, again, you're going to want to use some kind of powder that looks similar to your skin tone, and just go over that to tone it down and just make it look more natural. When it comes to things like contour, you can also use a shade that's a bit lighter, since it's going to contrast beautifully with the dark tones of the contour, and it's going to make it stand out more while toning it down. It's going to make your face look a lot more contoured, but in a natural way. Then when talking about the harsh lines, we're going to go through the same three steps. When you got really hard outstanding lines in your eyeshadow, which is usually not something that you would want. You want things to blend out and fade into your skin, make it look like smoke, things like that. But if you do have hard lines, it kind of depends on where the hard lines are showing. Is it on the outside of your eyeshadow? Then you kind of just want to blend some more. Don't take any more product onto your brush, but just try to blend it out. Try to just move the powder that's making the hard line just more to the outside and just make it fade out more. It can definitely sometimes take a long time before you get rid of like the hard line and make it fade into nothing. But just key here is to take your time and just be patient. Keep on blending. But then once we're talking about a harsh line in between two different colors, like where they're not really blending together, that is a whole different story. Then you either want to take a color that's kind of in between and just go over the harsh line with that color, or just take one of either colors and just go in and try to smooth out the line like you would blend the line on the outside out. Just make sure that you go in with both colors to kind of keep the both colors visible, because otherwise you're going to cover one of them with the other one, and it's not really going to look the way that you anticipated it, if that makes sense. Then next, talking about liquids, key thing here is to make sure that you don't have any powder underneath. Just because when you put liquids or creams on top of powders, it's gonna look so bad. You have no idea. We've discussed this in a previous video. If you've tried something like that, you just know how bad it is, how not workable it is. So just make sure that you've got that out of the way, because just the contrast between the powdered down region and the region that isn't really powdered down, that's kind of still sticky and kind of wet looking, wet feeling, it can really create this harsh line, and that's just it's gonna make your blush or contour or bronzer that's in powder form, it's gonna make it look really bad, just because it's gonna stick to the wet area, and then the area that's been powdered down it's not gonna stick to, and it's gonna blend beautifully, but you're gonna have this hard line in between the wet and the powdered area, and it's gonna look like a disaster, because it is a disaster. So then on the other hand, if the contrast between the powdered down region and the wet region is not your problem because you haven't powdered down yet, you just want to take your brush or your sponge, whatever you're using for the liquids or the creams, and just blend it out some more. Just move the product and work with it so that you can transfer it to another area and just make it look like it fades away. Sometimes it might help to do that with your hands, just because your hands are a lot warmer than a brush or a sponge usually would be, and then you get to kind of warm up the product again so that it gets more creamy and more liquidy, and you can move it a lot more easily. And then lastly, with the powders again, like contour, bronzer, blush, things like that, you might just want to blend some more. Just use that brush that you're using to apply it, and just go in circular motions or things like that, and just distribute the product more evenly, and just again make it fade out like it's smoke, like it's nothing. It's all natural. And here again, an important aspect is whether you've powdered down before putting on the extra powders. Just because again, it's gonna stick to the wet areas, or it's gonna blend in nicely in the powdered down areas. So it's gonna give this contrast again, and it's not gonna look faded. It's not going to look blended. It's not going to look natural. So I think that's it on this topic. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!